Hey there, it's James from the Crypto Swiss channel. Let's dive into a hot topic from the Crypto Basic. Is $2 the new 50 cents for XRP? Since November 2024, XRP has tested that $2 level not once, not twice, but 8 times. That's right, 8 solid tests. Sure, there have been moments when it dipped below, but $2 has consistently held strong. So, where does that leave us now? Well, this seems to be the new normal, and I want to give XRP holders some perspective on what's happening. Tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have earned over $34,000 in profits with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today. Before we go any further though, let me make something perfectly clear. I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't have a financial background. Nothing I say should inspire you to buy or sell, okay? Think of me as a crypto enthusiast who just enjoys making videos for fun. This is my hobby, not professional advice. Stick around, and we'll explore a few key points together. It's going to be worth your time. Let's take a moment to appreciate just how much long-term XRP holders have gained over the years. And honestly, those who continue to hold XRP are likely setting themselves up for incredible rewards, assuming of course that XRP remains viable in the long run. Considering the solid fundamentals and the growing adoption of crypto as a whole, I'd say the odds are heavily in its favor. To put things into perspective, let's rewind to 2013. Back then, XRP was trading at fractions of a penny. Yes, fractions. It was incredibly volatile. Picture this. If you snagged XRP at 0.008 cents, less than a penny, only to watch it drop to 0.002 cents, that's a massive percentage drop. Your $10,000 investment would have plunged to $2,500, wiping out $7,500 in value. Ouch. Now, just because it was trading within a penny doesn't mean small stakes. It all depended on how much you put in. That kind of volatility was the reality for early adopters back in 2013 and 2014. Wild price swings were just part of the game, and yet, look at how far XRP has come since then. Those who stuck it out through the chaos certainly have a story to tell. Back in the early days, people were taking real risks with real money, and the uncertainty was through the roof. It wasn't just about having conviction, it was about venturing into the unknown. Could XRP actually survive? Would cryptocurrencies even be a thing long term? Nobody knew for sure. It was a gamble, plain and simple. Still, in 2014, XRP saw its first big breakout, skyrocketing from half a penny to 6 cents, an incredible 12 times gain. But the glory was short-lived, and soon the price tumbled back below half a penny. Fast forward a few years, and XRP started to stabilize, regularly hovering near 20 cents. Think about that. A currency trading for a fraction of a cent for years suddenly found a new baseline, but don't mistake this for smooth sailing. Volatility was, and still is, the name of the game. Take 2018 for example. After hitting an all-time high, XRP dropped to 20 cents in September, only to surge to 80 cents by the end of the month. Then, just as quickly, it slid back to 20 cents. It's a roller coaster like no other. To put this into perspective, imagine investing $10,000 at 20 cents. Within weeks, your investment could tank to $2,500, losing $7,500 in value. Brutal, right? Yet, that same volatility brought massive opportunities. In April 2021, XRP hit $2, a far cry from its humble beginnings. But, as always, volatility struck again, and it wasn't long before XRP was trading under 50 cents. If you'd invested $10,000 at $2, you'd have been staring at a $2,500 portfolio not long after. That's the reality of investing in XRP. High risk, high reward. Here's the key takeaway. Despite all the ups and downs, XRP's typical trading price has trended upward over time. What was once half a penny turned into 20 cents, which turned into 50 cents, then $2. And who's to say what's next? Could $10 be the new normal one day? What about $20 or even $50? With global wealth and demand driving prices, those numbers aren't as far-fetched as they might seem. After all, less than 1% of the world currently owns XRP. Now think about this. If XRP at half a penny feels like a missed opportunity today, won't $2 feel the same way a decade from now? Right now, people are looking back, wishing they'd bought in at 50 cents. But in the future, $2 might look like the deal of a lifetime. The potential for growth is staggering, and only time will tell just how high it can climb. Remember back when XRP lingered around 20 to 25 cents for what felt like forever? It's wild to think about now, isn't it? Imagine if you'd loaded up back then. Yeah, it would have been amazing, no question. But here's the thing, those who have the guts to stick it out through all the market chaos and uncertainty are the ones who reap the rewards. I've been here since late 2017, and I haven't sold a single XRP. Not one. Why? Because I'm playing the long game, waiting for the levels I believe are coming. My conviction is strong. I think XRP is headed much, much higher. And sure, if I'm wrong, I'll lose it all. It could go to zero, but my faith in my bet, unshaken. Here's how I see it. This market is only going to get bigger. What was 50 cents for XRP a few years ago? That's $2 now. It's the new baseline. For months, XRP has been holding this range, something we've never seen before in its history. Could it drop lower in the short term? Of course. Markets are unpredictable like that. In fact, this reminds me of a post by chart analyst Mikey Bull Crypto. He brought up Black Monday from 1987, a day no one saw coming. Now, people are buzzing about a potential crash happening tomorrow, tied to discussions around tariffs. Personally, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. Here's why. When everyone is expecting something, it rarely plays out that way. Black Monday was a shock, a true black swan event. It wasn't telegraphed. Sure, if some major news event breaks, prices could take a hit. I'm not denying that. But even if something like Black Monday happened today, and XRP got knocked down temporarily, would it change the fundamentals? Absolutely not. That's what matters. Investing in the big picture, not chasing emotional retail hype. Long-term vision and sticking to the fundamentals will always beat following the crowd. So even if the market wobbles, I'm holding on tight. Let's take a trip down memory lane to a fascinating headline from March 19th, 2020. This one's a real-time capsule, written by chart analyst Michael Vandepop, who used to contribute to Cointelegraph. Check this out. XRP price on final support before 6 cents. Key level holding for now. That's right. He was warning people that XRP could drop to a mere 6 cents. 6 cents. But what was happening at the time? Well, we were in the thick of the pandemic, and the markets were in chaos. Looking back now, with over 5 years of hindsight, it's wild to think about. XRP is worth so much more today, but back then, the fear was real. Here's what Vandepop wrote. Recently, cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin have seen a significant drop. Bitcoin wasn't alone. Other markets, including equities, fell 30% to 40%. Yes, you read that correctly. The stock market plummeted 30% to 40%. It was a historic moment, one that sent shockwaves across all sectors. That crash, as terrifying as it seemed, ended up being an incredible buying opportunity. People panicked, sold everything, and then, bam, the market reversed to the upside. If there's one lesson from that period, it's that long-term investing, with broad exposure, pays off. Time is your best ally. The article also pointed out that altcoins took a beating, but noted a glimmer of hope. Some altcoins have performed slightly better than Bitcoin in recent weeks. One of them is XRP, and there you have it, a snapshot of a chaotic moment in history that turned out to be a stepping stone for massive growth. Now, this is seriously cool. In their articles, whenever they reference XRP, they include a dynamic tag that shows the current price of XRP in real time. For instance, right now, XRP is at $2.05. If you were reading this exact article 5 years ago, it would have shown XRP at 15 cents. How crazy is that? Here's a chart from the article. Actually, it's from Michael Vandepop. Back then, XRP was sitting at 15 cents when he posted this. Wild, right? Absolutely wild. Anyway, let's dive into what he said about XRP. According to Vandepop, the XRP/USD chart showed similarities to previous cycles, but also suggested that XRP was resting on crucial support before a potential meltdown. Yikes. Even reading it now, it's nerve-wracking. With hindsight, though, we know what happened. It's a cycle that's repeated time and time again for over a decade with XRP. Prices drop, people panic sell, and the winners are always the ones who hold. That's the game, period. Vandepop noted that XRP briefly dropped below $0.15 during the week, hitting $0.10. But it closed back above $0.15 by the end of the week. At the time, holding 15 cents was critical. Losing that support would have signaled a major drop to 6 cents, a terrifying 60% nosedive. Thankfully, that never happened. But yes, it did dip to 10 cents. During the chaos, with blood in the streets and panic everywhere, I made my boldest move yet. I snagged XRP at its absolute cheapest. $0.15. I was thrilled about it. Even talked about it on my channel. This was at the height of the pandemic, no less. On March 13th, 2020, amidst the chaos, I shared my excitement on X, formerly Twitter, even posting a couple of pictures. That was a wild time, but looking back, it was one of the smartest moves I've ever made. All right, here's a little throwback for you. This is a photo I took at my local Sam's Club. Well, one of them. I stopped by at 2 p.m. that day, and let me tell you, it was pure madness. No parking spaces, no shopping carts, and not a single piece of produce. I mean literally zero. People were panicking, hoarding anything they could get their hands on. It wasn't rational, but fear rarely is. Kind of like the fear people had around XRP's price back then. At the time, XRP was sitting at 15 cents. I said, this is irrational. It doesn't make sense. And guess what? It didn't. The world was going crazy. Cats and dogs becoming best friends. Chaos everywhere. Nothing made sense. But damn, was I right in the long run. Fast forward, and XRP shot past $2, eventually hitting a new all-time high of $3.39. Did it age well? You bet it did. Now sure, prices dipped again. That's just normal volatility. But let me tell you, XRP isn't staying down. It's like that day at Sam's Club. Here's another photo I took, where the shopping cart should have been. Empty. People running around like lunatics, grabbing whatever they could because they thought it was the end of the world. Spoiler, it wasn't. It was just fear running the show. And that's the thing. There's always going to be something new for the world to panic about. Back then, it was the pandemic. Today, who knows? But one thing's for sure, irrational fear never lasts. The tariff drama is rattling markets again. Typical, right? At least we've got produce back on the shelves. But honestly, there's always going to be something shaking things up. Here's the reality. The world keeps spinning, markets recover, and what spooks investors today eventually gets sorted. It always does. Here's the thing. Those who stay patient, with smart exposure to asset classes like stocks or crypto, they're the real winners. It's not rocket science. You don't need some overpriced course or a fancy strategy. Seriously, I've got nothing to sell you. The core of investing, diversify, buy, and wait. That's it. Sure, there's depth and nuance, and I dive into those details on my channel. But if you strip it all down, it's this. Broad exposure, stick to it, and let time do the work. Simple. Of course, crypto comes with risks. Every investment does. Sure, there's always a chance it doesn't pan out, but I don't lose sleep over it. Why? Because I hold my XRP. Without it, I'd probably feel a little uneasy, but with it, I'm calm, confident, even excited. This is such an incredible moment for XRP holders. Yes, we're early, and that's exactly where you want to be. Funny thing is, no matter when you jump in, you always feel late. When I started in 2017, snagging XRP at 20 cents, I kept thinking, man, if only I'd known a few years earlier. But here's the truth. Every moment feels late until it doesn't. The first time I bought XRP, it was around 20 or 21 cents, something like that. And honestly, I remember thinking, oh great, I'm only getting in at 21 cents. Meanwhile, these lucky people snagged it at half a penny. Fast forward to today, and now XRP is trading at over $2. Suddenly, people are wishing they got in at the price I did. Funny how that works, right? Here's the kicker. Fast forward a decade, and people will be saying the exact same thing about today's prices. Even if you're just now discovering XRP, the game hasn't changed. It's the same story, rinse and repeat. Sure, the price might dip, it always does. Back when XRP went from 0.008 cents, yes, less than a penny, down to 0.002 cents, people freaked out. But look where we are now. What if the naysayers today are right and XRP drops to $1? Big deal. That's just part of the journey. Back in 2017, I said there would come a day when XRP regularly traded in the range of tens of cents. At the time, that seemed like wishful thinking. But look around, here we are. And soon enough, XRP will consistently trade in the dollar range. We're inching closer every day. And why stop there? Why couldn't it eventually hit the tens of dollars? If adoption keeps growing, why not? It's all about perspective. Those who invest with a long-term mindset are the ones who win. Unless we're completely wrong about XRP, or some unforeseen catastrophic event occurs, the strategy is simple. Be patient. Wait. The market has already made its judgment. XRP is a proven winner. Think about it. Globally, investors recognize XRP's value. It's one of just 3 cryptocurrencies, alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum, that has stayed in the top 10 by market cap since its inception. That's not luck. It's consensus. This isn't just you or me believing in XRP. It's investors around the world. They've all come to the same conclusion. XRP makes sense. It's a winner. And the market has been screaming it loud and clear. Once a technology like this gains traction, it becomes nearly impossible to replace. Even if something slightly better than XRP comes along, does it really matter? XRP settles in 3 to 5 seconds. If another coin could settle in 1 second or less, who cares? The difference is negligible. Good luck convincing the world to adopt something new when XRP already exists, works flawlessly, and does the job. Payments? Covered. Instant and practically free. Replacing it? Not so easy. That's the beauty of technology that works. It sticks. So there's plenty to be optimistic about. This is less about hype and more about perspective. It's fascinating to look back at market cycles and reflect on past events, including price volatility. The truth is, there will always be something to shake the market. Some new fear, some unexpected chaos. My approach? Ignore the noise. Stay calm. Do nothing. And for most, that's harder than it sounds. But for me, it's simple. People panic. People hoard toilet paper until shelves are empty. Remember the great toilet paper crisis of 2020? It happened. People freak out, but it always passes. 5 years from now, will anyone care about today's fears? Like Terra? Unlikely. By then, there will be some other market drama. There always is. But the market rebounds. It always does. It's a cycle. Fear, excitement, growth, repeat. XRP is positioned for big things. Don't be shocked when it hits double-digit prices someday. I won't be. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't make any decisions based on what I'm saying here. That would be a terrible idea. But hey, the future looks bright.